Buenos nachos, amigos, and welcome to another fantastic episode of Hallyujuku, your K-pop podcast of good fun and good tidings and celebrations, and I don't know. We hang out and talk about East Asian pop culture. I'm Peter Ray, your man with no plan. Here with me is my partner in crime, my right-hand man on my left-hand side. I've started turning that into a thing. And I don't know why. Once I jump on a bit, it's just like I can't let go. We got Brandon Cooper, aka King Kaz. How you doing, Kaz?
I am doing pretty good.
Yeah. I feel like that catchphrase feels like something like DJM would come up with. My right-hand man on my left-hand side.
Probably.
Yeah, probably. But I like it so much, I guess. We're here to talk about East Asian pop culture. We're here to talk about some things here and there. Of course, we start off every episode talking about what's new, what's caught our attention, what's we've noticed since we last gathered. Cass, what's new?
So new for me, starting out the week is the boys from Highlight with a song called "Can Be Better," which is. It's a fun little song, right? Because it kind of goes through all these moments of where something just goes wrong, right? And you're just like, can't be worse, can only get better, you know? And I kind of like the video. It's super cute. It's super fun. There's a lot of great moments in it. There's a lot of ridiculous moments in it, like being attacked by the chickens that are coming out of nowhere. But the one that gets me, and I think hits everyone in the heart, is dropping your cell phone down a storm drain, dog. Yeah. Thin enough for your phone, not wide enough for your hands. You know what I mean?
Yeah, it's like that. It's like, you know, young enough to old enough to know better, young enough to do it anyway. You know, thin enough for your phone to fall through. Like, but it's just lost forever. So
yeah,
you're gonna have to go get a new phone, or you're gonna have to call. Like, who do you call to like open up a storm drain? Like, do you have to call like the city to like, and they'll just like, you want us to come send workers to do what? To get what?
It's rough. It's rough. It's a rough world, you know.
Laugh at you over the phone, like. Oh,
yeah,
Julie, listen to what this guy wants us to do. Sir, you want to go ahead and tell us what you said? Listen. Yeah, right.
So it's a rough one. But that being, it's a pretty fun song. Even still, it's not the greatest. It's not like end all be all. But I thought it was pretty fun. I had fun with it. I enjoyed it. Fuck yeah boy.
Yeah. No, I think Highlight's having. I think Highlight's debut year has been a solid one overall with all their different releases.
Yeah, they're kind of coming into their own. They're kind of making a sound that people like, or I think people like. I don't actually know.
We like. Yeah.
Yeah.
At least that's what it's important. That's all that matters.
Yeah. All right. So moving on. I got some things from our boys. We started talking about Epic High last week, and we talked about on the end of the track that I brought last week that there was kind of a continuation track called Love Story. So this is I don't understand this. This is the concept video for
there's a concept video. There's an art video.
Right, of Love Story, and it's super cool. Once again, it's a mobile styled video, so it's meant for you to be watching it on your phone, and it's because of the whole fact of how it's presented to you. It's presented through moments in this couple's time together in things that they recorded on their phones with each other, in these moments that they have, and I thought it's super cool. I thought it was super fun. Just like conceptually when you think about it as what it's doing and what it's presenting to you. And it took me out of having that moment of where I'm like, where you're like, God damn it, this isn't, why are, it's in this format, not this format. But I was like, okay, I get it. It's the whole point of if you were watching this on a phone. Which would be creepy because you'd be watching other people's shit on a phone. And
Yeah.
I don't know how you got their videos, but whatever.
It's like you're one of the participants and you're going through your past relationship with this other person.
Oh man, that's weird. Yeah. But I thought it was super fun, and I like the song. I love Epic High, man. Can do no wrong.
Yeah, and good contribution by IU in a guest appearance, which is fantastic. Yeah, I liked this song. It was really pretty. I'd like the art version as well. It's very nice and interesting visuals. It's over on the suggested. It's on their same YouTube channel. But yeah, these both versions are really cool for this song. And yeah, like I'm looking.
Yeah.
I still haven't gotten around to doing it. But I'm looking forward to sitting down with the whole album. Especially for other tracks on this, including.
So that I don't know. I had to get back to the dock, and for some reason, it was on my other screen. So that other track that is going to be featured on this album is called "No Thanks," and it is an Epic High style track. It's featuring their boys, straight up hip hop. You got Mino on here, you got Simon Dominique, and you got The Quiet. And it's just a banger. It's just a straight out banger, man. Just a banger.
It's just a hip hop pass the mic banger. It's just straightforward, classic hip hop style, and this is one of those things where it's like you get the both with Epic High. You get very modern, like radio. I would say radio friendly to an extent, without kind of being too
over the top. It's not too out there. There's a couple fuckers in there.
Yeah, but the radio friendly, like style with their love songs and like kind of the more ballady stuff. But you get this where it's like just down to basics, back to their roots, good old fashioned hip hop, like with aggressiveness.
Yeah, I mean, but you could swap out the fucks for freakers.
Yeah. But I mean, aside, but other than that, the main thing is that it's a cool, great beat, a bunch of talented MCs just killing the beat, and that's what's really cool about it. That's like down to just basically what this song is about. Like, it's a beat and a bunch of MCs taking turns, killing it. Like,
yeah. I mean, Mino's part is damn good too, and I actually really liked Simon's part too. Like, I thought those two parts kind of stood out to me the most.
Yeah, so I'm looking forward to kind of, like I said, this one's going to be one of those like
taking that moment, sitting down with this whole album.
Yeah.
And if you're wondering, it's what is it? It's We've Done Something Wonderful, right? Is the album title? Yeah.
And I will be the judge of that if you have done something wonderful. But they probably did do something wonderful.
Of course. All right. Now it's Petey's turn.
Yes, it's my turn. For things that are new, so one thing actually, a show that I actually checked out the first couple episodes of. So there's been obviously the trend of ever since Produce 101. Or Produce 101. I don't know how we're supposed to pronounce that. There's been the trend now of taking these shows where you take other people's either trainees from all over the K-pop world and whoever you can get to audition in known or unknown or non-existent groups to audition for your show, so you can make a temporary group. They're mixing up the concepts in some format or another, but they're basically making that show again, because once a thing becomes popular, there's going to be 1,000 of them. And that's true of television everywhere. But yeah, I checked out the first couple episodes of The Unit. The show is supposed to be like a reboot show. So the idea that it's called subtitled "The Idol Rebooting Project." So it's taking groups that never had a chance, or people like parts of groups, people from groups that never had a chance, or that are still getting their feet wet. Like it, the idea is like rebooting, like giving a second chance kind of thing. But it's really just like anybody can could join the show, because they also had artists that had like just debuted like 3 months before they were recording the show. So I guess like post or pre-failure groups.
Yeah.
And I think overall, I actually enjoyed it. It's not the most revolutionary show in the world, but it was nice.
Right.
Like it had a lot of good performances. Like, and I actually have notes here. Like a lot of the, like you see a lot of kind of the moments. It's like the mentors are really cool because it's Rain, your boy Rain, as a mentor, kind of as like the judges, quote unquote, as the Sunbays. They're the seniors looking over, kind of giving feedback. So it's Rain, Taemin, Hyuna, Johyuna of Urban Zakapa, and Hwang Chiyeol, he of dude who got his career in China and now has to go back because China banned all the Korean artists. And who else? I think, yeah, those are the mentors. And it's a good show. Like we got to see like people like ex members of UKISS, members of like Big Star, like we got to see funny like contestants like this guy Lee Chung Ha, who had like he was the classic William Chung character, that he had no talent but he was charming and he was like adorable. Like that's what he did. Like he got up there, danced and sang horribly, but he had a big smile and it was really adorable. So it's like they had a whole comedic scene, as you do. Yeah, I think overall it was cool. We got to see this 13-year-old trainee Lee Ju Hyun, who was extremely talented, and like had Rain going like, when I debuted around like your age, or around your age, and I was not nearly as talented as you are. Like at 13 years old, like it's like, dude, like you are far above where I was at your age. Like, and it was really cool. And how that moments also had Spica, and I included sorry, in the show notes you'll see that I included Yang Ji-won of Spica's performance. She chose Tonight. And it was really nice. Like it was a really well done performance, and it was really good to see her on stage. And I'm not gonna lie, it made me a little emotional, just kind of seeing her on stage, like doing so well, and then like, it was interesting. So it should, and like you'll see that one of the things that happens, like there's a crowd voting. So like the premise of the show is that there's at least in this phase, there's crowd voting. So they kind of, the more percentage of the crowd vote for the artist, the more boots they get, and if they get 6 boots, they get the super boot. That means that they just pass. The group just passes, or they just pass. And then if they don't get all the boots, then the judges will decide like if they'll have to get at least 1 boot from one of the judges. But she just got like, that means like 90% of the crowd voted her, and she did fantastically. Yeah, I think there's a lot to like about the show. I think there's a little bit of controversy on the show, mainly because people were complaining about the fact that there were some new artists like that just debuted that got big attention, but there was also groups like La Boom, Dalshabet, Hyeyeon of Bestie, who kind of got relegated into like a almost like a spliced together montage, which I could see why some would be upset about that, but I actually don't. I understand why, because like in this reality shows, like what is the thing that drives these reality shows? Narrative, and like having a story, having a thing. And I think in this, like the early episodes for those groups, there's not really that much of a different narrative for all three of those groups for all of them to be featured right now. Like I know for for sure they're going to be featured throughout the show. The members are going to be there, and they're going to be there performing and featuring heavily. But in this initial moment, there was so many other like narratives and stories that maybe not all of them good, but like that were more unique and had more of a purpose. So I don't know. I think it's good, and hopefully I think I also linked to if I would say keep an eye on the KBS World YouTube channel to see if they post the episodes on there. It was like just last week that I think not even a week ago that it aired their first couple episodes. So we'll have to see if they do like post the episodes on KBS World TV like they do with other shows. I don't know. Well, what did you? I don't know if you had any thoughts about like the performance or seeing.
Not really. I looked at like a bit of it, but I didn't really watch it to give like real thoughts on it. I just kind of looked at the stuff like that was happening and kind of just real quick. But I mean, like I said, it's just kind of interesting, you know.
Yeah. So I think it's worth checking out once if it comes up onto their YouTube and you get to see it. I got to see it on, as you do with the fan subs and stuff like that, but we'll see if they bring something out. They also kind of in this performance, they teased the ending of the first episode, which was seeing Hotshot out there and then Taemin like being uncontrollable crying because apparently he's friends with one of the members of Hotshot. So like seeing him on stage and like being like, oh, you're considered a failed idol. And he got all emotional. So it's like, what's going to happen next? Why is Taemin emotional? All that fun stuff. But keep an eye out on that. All right. Speaking of songs. All right. Not to bury the lead, but let's just get straight to it. The big release. These past couple days. Twice are back. This time with a full-length album, actually. Their first full album, Twice-tagram, which I love the name. So fantastic. They're so modern poppy trend hopping, and it's fun. But they have the new song, new video for the song Likey. And I liked it. I really did. It's back to like the formula.
Cute song.
It's back to their formula. It's back to freaking what's his name? Black Eyed Peas song, who's responsible for all the good songs and not Signal. So like there's like, well, let's go back to this guy we actually let's go back to the drawing board, back to the guy who gave us our hits. And this one is a bona fide hit. It's a fun song. It's a cute song. It's super catchy. I think it does exactly what it needs to do as a bubblegum pop song. I definitely say that me likey.
I thought it was a pretty fun track. Like it definitely has the sound of the songs that you like from them, which is always a good thing. Like 100% always a good thing to have that sound of the songs that you enjoy. It's back to the formula that works, and hopefully they just stick to it.
Yeah. I mean, if you'd like to, not that you want to discourage them from wanting to quote unquote grow, but
you can grow within the sound that works. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah,
like you don't.
Exactly.
It doesn't mean don't experiment. It just means, all right, that experiment wasn't successful. Let's go back to what we know, and then let's figure out from there where to go.
Exactly. And I think that's what works about this. It's just fun. It has some nice little nods to their previous songs. In like the choreography, there's some really cool moments. They all look great. There's a fantastic, fun little rap break where there's. I think one of the best parts about the rap break is that it's got it's super cutesy faux hip hop hard moment where they're all acting like super like hard, and it has a dab where everybody, if you go in there, the best discovery is watching it, going back and watching it over and over again, seeing everybody dab, and then seeing what Jihyo does instead. If you keep an eye on there, just everybody's dab, and Jihyo hits you with the fab. Like, like, like nobody informed her what they were doing in that moment, and she just did her own thing, which is fun. But yeah, I think it's another fantastic track, and it's I'd say I can speak for us. Let's say we likey. We like
yeah.
Likey. I'm just fishing for an episode title. All right. Next up on the agenda, Playback are back. They made it out of the. I don't want to. They made it out of the back burner at Corridel Entertainment. For I'm trying to find a better term than out of the dungeon, because that term is so played out. But they're finally back. They actually had a comeback with "Want You to Say." They had a little, it's kind of a single album. They had a couple other tracks. One of them is a single, a solo track for their new / old member who was supposed to debut with them, Jin, but now they invited her back. And it's a really good song. I really enjoyed it. It's very much hopping on that like tropical house, like Latin pop sound thing that went around everywhere this summer.
The only thing about this song that like kind of got me was just island beat.
Yeah. I think it's.
I mean, it works and it's fine, but we're still in it, man. 2017, the year of the island beat in K-pop.
Yeah. it's oddly enough, it feels very summer like, which almost feels like maybe this comeback got delayed a bit. Like you almost feel like maybe they accidentally, like it was supposed to happen a little while ago, but things got held up like for whatever reason. So it just happened now, but by the point that they were able to finally okay the comeback, they didn't have time to write a new song. So here's the summer jam in November, or in the end of October. But I enjoyed it. I think it's good to have Playback back, because their debut was a fantastic track, and it's always sad to see that a group show up, impress, and then just disappear. And it happens all too often in K-pop. And then the fact that their company gets bought by Tyler Kwan to be the Jessica company, and the fear that they were going to get kind of put like on the back burner, which they kind of were, like while the company focused on being Jessica's company. But hopefully this portends. This is a sign of things to come, where we're going to see more Playback. I think they have potential. They're like a lot of groups, but we'll have to see. They have potential. They're good. They haven't really, even with their debut, which I thought was good, they haven't necessarily put something out there where they've defined themselves as completely unique and exemplary yet, but they could. So we'll have to see. We'll have to wait and see. We're looking forward to more. All right. Next up, now to a group that hasn't even debuted yet officially. But okay, so we talked about. I think we talked about maybe even last week or the previous week, a couple weeks ago, actually several weeks ago. I don't know, a while ago. Luna, the group, the Luna, the unit Odd Eye Circle, with a new kind of surprise to me track. I don't know if they were teasing it, but it just kind of dropped, and I just saw it on Reddit. And I was like, is this like a special like beachside track, something like that? But no, it was just proper music video for Sweet Crazy Love.
Mm-hmm.
It's a good song, like and it came out of nowhere, and I enjoyed it. It had a fun and feel to it, and it's well made. Like, it has a cool vibe to it. Like the beat, the instrumental is really cool and interesting. The performances are really interesting. The visuals are really cool. Like the cinematography of it, like, just it's not complex.
I thought that was
really
pretty cool too.
Yeah, I don't know. What do you think? Yes.
I mean, I like the song. The song is really nice. It's kind of simple and catchy. I like kind of the back and forth, especially like kind of earlier where you have these mysterious parts of the song where it's black and white, and then as you get to know the song, you get more color, right? Like, those are really fun visual things to play with, right? As the beat picks up, you get more and more color in the video and stuff like that. And I just kind of like kind of the overall, just like, look, it looks really nice, it looks really sharp, and I just like kind of the color choices that are made, and it just fits really well with kind of how they stylized everything. So really well thought out, really well done, and I enjoyed it because of that.
Yeah, it's really cool. And like, Luna continues to be the surprise of 2017, late 2016 and all 2017. And not everything has been a home run or even a hit, but there's a lot of what they've been doing with this project as a whole has been really cool and interesting, just in general, and ambitious, because, well, they've got money, so and they're gonna use it. So yeah, really cool stuff. I'm looking forward to more from them. Yeah. All right, that's it for the what's new. We're gonna transition over to our headlines. So join us on the flip side. Welcome, ladies and gentlemen, to Headlines, where we talk about some of the things going on, some of the topics, some of the happenings in the world of East Asian pop culture. We have a few headlines. Let's get right down to it. JinE, who was on hiatus to battle anorexia, has withdrawn from Oh My Girl, according to WM. All right, so this is kind of a downer, but there is, I would say that it's kind of a downer, but at the same time there's a kind of like a hopefulness to this on some level. So JinE, who's been on hiatus from Oh My Girl, because she's been battling anorexia, they officially announced that they canceled they've agreed to a cancellation of the contract. They just said that WM Entertainment has respected her decision to withdraw and focus on her health, and that the group is going to continue as 7. It's like it says here in the article, and you can read. It's not a very complex article, but you can read it there. It says that it sucks to see anybody go from a group, because you want to kind of want to root for all of them, but
you always want people to be very mindful of their health, and it doesn't seem like she is being very mindful of her health, right? And it's like it seems the way the situation played out, is like because you and I think us here, and I think when I first looked at it, I kind of took that ideal that like, oh, it's the Korean music industry and they're probably forcing a standard on her, right? Like, but then you also think that sometimes people just have problems and issues with things, right? People just have problems with controlling those kind of things and controlling those issues. So it could have played out in a situation where they're like, you gotta get this under control. We'll give you the time that you need, give you the help that you need if we can. And maybe she just couldn't get there on her own, and
yeah, like I would say, yeah, because the fact that they were willing to, at this point, just make the decision that it was better for her to not be part of the group anymore, not be in, at least in the company anymore. You could see that even if it was an external pressure, you could see that maybe it probably wasn't a pressure from the company necessarily as much as it just is an pop industry wide pressure on the expectations of your
but it
ideals.
Sometimes,
not even K-pop,
oddly enough, like
entire
like oddly enough, sometimes eating disorders and anorexia and things like that can form in just like weird mental ways, right? Where like you everybody always thinks like, oh, it's kind of a societal thing, right? It could just be a mental health thing, like in how people view themselves. Like that's just as much a mental health thing as someone who cuts themselves or does any other kind of physical harm to themselves, like those are just things that happen with those kind of things, and it could have been a bigger thing that comes from something else. So
and the beauty standards of celebrity just in general, especially in K-pop or Korean entertainment, doesn't help. That's for sure. And it's probably not the best place to be if you have those issues and those mental health hang-ups. If you have those like kind of the body dysmorphia issues and things like that, like if you have that going on within you, being part, it's probably best to be away from this industry. It's not the best place to be. So like I said, it's the hopefulness is that the fact that this decision was made was probably for the best, and then it's going to help her get the help that she needs and have the time to get the help that she needs, have the time, the distance, and the freedom to focus on maintaining. With these kind of things, it's not you don't cure it's not an easy cure.
No, it's not overnight. It takes time.
Takes time to even get yourself in a position where you're better, but where you can even like cope and but you while still struggling internally, but coping and thinking a little clearer, and be able to fight it even if it stays with you forever. Because honestly, sometimes these things stay with you forever. So like even if you get yourself into a better mind state, it still might be better for you to be away from the industry, because that can all come crashing down on you when you're back out there with all the stress and pressure of being in the industry, of being in pop music in general, especially with the high work ethic standards. Like it's better to be away. So all the best to JinE, all the best to Oh My Girl, who are an up and coming group and have a lot of potential. So I think they'll do fine. They'll do as
we'll see. We'll just hopefully they keep track and people can find out what's going on in a good way.
In a way that we get good word out from a distance. She needs that time. All right. Speaking of members of pop groups, former AKB48 member speaks out against Osaka school that forced its student to dye her hair.
So this
article,
one.
yeah.
This one very specifically speaks on the thing that you talked about, right? This is the societal standard, right? Of normal, right? So for them and in that cultural thing, there's the societal standard that, like, as a proper Japanese person, your hair should be black, right? Like, and not of a different color.
Dyed hair. Like it's
right.
like it's like a Japan, like many countries, their schools have like strict dress codes. Of course, involves uniform standards. Some a little crazy, and one of them is not specifically having black hair, but on the book,
that's what it was.
It's the not having dyed hair, because what it is on the book, on paper, it's you're not allowed to dye your hair.
Right.
So, but that's being interpreted as you should have black hair, because that's what being interpreted. So, in order to comply with the no dye rule and have black hair, they're forcing people to dye their hair.
Right.
Which has a lot of people,
and then that's the fucked up societal standard that comes through in the weird rules, and then you're just like, wait, what? Like, isn't by forcing this standard now going against your rules, because now you're making the kid do something that you don't want them to be doing? Like, it's just silly,
because they're interpreting this in a way, like, and the reason Osaka is, not Osaka, the reason Sayaka Agemoto is speaking out on this is that she herself is naturally kind of more red-haired, more red-brown hair, because she's, I believe, I'm going to look up her lineage. She is of Japanese and Filipino descent. But even on that, there are full-blooded, naturalized Japanese people who have naturally brown hair, like, or naturally lighter hair, naturally red hair. It's one of those things where, yes, you kind of get into these assumptions of genetics of a certain, like, race, but, like, genetics is also kind of random, like. And some people, like, there's great episodes of, like, Hello Counselor on TV, where there was a girl who was Korean. Both parents were Korean, but she had very light blue eyes. Like, and she was like, had to go on the show, like, yo, don't judge me, don't call me weird, like, please, like, accept the fact that I have blue eyes, like, like, these are my eyes, and I was born with them. So, like, I don't know. It's one of those things where it's like people like to romanticize a lot of things about other countries' cultures, especially things like Japanese school uniforms.
Well, like, there's even other ones in here, right? Like, not even just the forcing them to dye their hair, right? But then they're like just hard standards of shit that are just dumb, right? Like, you can't have a ponytail because it creates, like,
lustful feelings. Like, yo, you talking about yourself, bruh? Like, you like, it's one of those things where they talk about themselves and their weird assness. And they trying to
now. I will hands up. If a girl has a ponytail, I'm out. So, you take that as you may. I'm not a man for ponytails, so ponytails don't do it for me. So where'd you get that? Where did that come from? That a girl with a ponytail creates lustful feeling. What's up, guys? Okay,
that's yo shit. Like, that's yo shit. Like,
I'm gonna move on.
Whoever did that, and also
enforcing
what color underwear can be worn. Like,
how do you even? Okay, let's not even talk about that one. That's just fucked up.
That's motherfuckers in charge think about high school girls' underwear. Shaking my damn head at y'all.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, not to judge another country's culture, but you could just let people wear like a polo and khaki slacks. Like that's a pretty good school uniform. I know it's not.
It's okay. Let them live their lives, man. Let them live their. It's fine. Actually, don't let them live their lives. That other
let
thing
those students live their lives. Let the students live their lives. They have it hard enough as it is.
Let's move on to something that might make my life hard.
BTS and designer. Yes, the collab we've all been waiting for. BTS and designer hint at something coming up after meeting at Billboard Music Awards. So BTS and designer with two eyes. For those that aren't aware, the man behind Panda, who has broads in Atlanta, apparently. Which really, I mean, he may have broads in Atlanta, but he does not have. He that's nice, but he still does not have. I doubt he has hoes in every area code. So, which is he still, he still has ways to go. So you've got hoes in different area codes. Then, still.
What are you talking about? Stop.
I don't know.
Look,
let's focus on this. Look, How excited are you about this collab?
I'm not. So BTS is like constantly on the rise and constantly looking to further their star, right? And in doing that, I think it's that thing, right, where they're kind of going to latch themselves to what's hot at the moment. And I guess designer's kind of hot at the moment. I actually really don't know.
Or other people are going to be latching onto what's hot at the moment, and what's hot at the moment is BTS.
Right. I was gonna say like it kind of is a two-way street, right?
Yeah.
And like, look, if it was me, I definitely would latch myself to fucking BTS as much as I fucking could. You know what I mean, Doug?
Yeah.
Like,
yeah. And they're latching onto what was hot a couple years ago, like most of Korean entertainment. So like designer, the fact that they collaborated with Chainsmokers, it's like, yeah, I think it could make for a very interesting song at the very least. Like,
why can't they do like a collab with somebody like J. Cole? Like J. Cole's cool, right? Like I like J. Cole.
Or Chance the Rapper.
That would be. Chance would be cool too. Like that'd be cool. I'd even almost take Tyler the Creator at this point.
Yeah.
And like I think Tyler's a cool kid. I just don't like his music, but I think he's a cool kid. But I don't know. It's
Kendrick Lamar. That'd be a better choice.
Yeah. But I don't know. We'll see how it goes. Like it could be good or it could be bad. This is kind of how this thing has gone lately with all these like collaborations with like American rappers and K-pop artists. Like it's either good or it's just straight out bad. So we'll see.
It's not a new thing. We all know that classic Turner that classic Kanye West cameo on what the fuck song was it? It was a JYJ song.
Mm-hmm.
It had worse English than most K-pop songs. Like it was hilariously bad.
We'll just see. We'll see. That's all we can say is we'll see, and we'll see.
And see. Yeah. So next up, kind of a fun. This one's a little bit more of a fun, cute thing. Mainly to kind of lighten things up before we wrap up, which is we'll wrap up a little bit sour, but this is more of a cute thing. So X Japan's Yoshiki, Yoshiki, who's been kind of doing his thing post X Japan, or I guess still with X Japan. Well, I'm not familiar with X Japan. I think they're no longer active. But they are definitely a legendary visual K band. And he's kind of a cool, like, fascinating figure just on his own, doing like movies and like stage productions and like composing classical music and shit. X Japan's Yoshiki gives weather report in English on French TV, delights fans worldwide. This is probably one of the most adorable things ever. Him standing in, let's talk about, actually list a couple of things that he's done. He owns a number of recording studios overseas and involved in ventures beyond the music industry, having dabbled in kimono design, winemaking, and a collaboration with Hello Kitty. And now Yoshiki is once again testing the waters of a new field, TV weather forecasting. Shown as a video clip tweeted by the artist himself. It's basically, he just gets up there, it does the weather forecast the best he can in English, and does his best at pronouncing French city names with the help of the hosts. And it's
kind of a silly TV thing, right? It happens all the time. Like, if you watch any foreign TV, this is kind of bits that happen all the time on foreign TV. So, like, there's no surprise in this bit, but it's still cute and it's still funny.
It's still uplifting, and it was still fun. Like, it's still a really cool, fun moment that they created there, and it was nice. It's nice to see him there and doing well, because I think a lot of fans of X Japan and Yoshiki are hoping for good things, because this is something even I was aware of, that he's kind of been not doing well health wise. The fact that he's required emergency surgery last year, he's like he brings it. He puts all of himself on stage, and it's coming back to bite him health wise. So it's one of those things where you want to see him in good spirits, just any way whatsoever. So good for him. I think seeing him do fun things, and I think it was really cool to get to see him perform a couple years ago at Japan Night, randomly, when he showed up, because of a bunch of bands had visa issues, so they had to like call in reinforcements from the other Japanese artists that were there at the time, just happened to be there, and he just happened to be there, and they just like asked him, and it's like he said yes, so he showed up with with the string quartet on that little fucking goth club stage, like set up with the grand piano that they had to put on there. I don't think it was a grand piano, but it was a piano that they had to put on the stage. I remember them doing the logistics of getting it up there. Like, it was hilarious. Right. And it was just a wild performance, because it's like this 20-minute instrumental, and then him coming out on stage doing a couple of songs, a couple of really substantive, like, longer songs, and are really good compositions. But like, it was just interesting. And then he said a few words, did one more song, and then he left. And it was like, what? And it was fantastic. It was cool.
So hopefully hopefully he can get better, because he's a great performer. From what I know of X Japan, they're just a really good performance to watch, and it's really super cool.
It's one of those things where it's one of those artists that you hear about even tangentially, so I definitely want to give them more time to kind of delve into who they are. All right. I hate to end on this sour of a note, but I didn't feel like following this up with anything, because nothing else could. Silly articles about like internet cafes in Japan or anything like that would feel out of place after it. So actor Kim Joo-hyuk passes away after a car accident. So Kim Joo-hyuk is somebody that we are familiar with, like you and I, because if nothing else, we are fans of the current ongoing season of 2 Days, One Night. He was a big part of the initial the initial cast before he left because to work on
part of the reboot cast, part of the cast that kind of brought that show back to life.
Mostly the current cast, aside from the people that came in to fill his space, but and he was definitely a big part of what made that show work. Yeah, he unfortunately had a car accident, and there's been a lot of speculation back and forth of what happened, but we don't know, and I don't really care about speculating. It's crazy and sad and heartbreaking that such a talented dude could be lost to us so soon. Like such a talented, good-hearted person who's like looking forward to a lot of things. Like he was planning to get married and start a family pretty soon. So it was super heartbreaking, and we've been getting word of like all like his cast members being notified, and like Jung Jun Young, the young kid, he was actually filming Law of the Jungle, and they had to actually they were struggling to actually get in contact with the crew out there, so it took actual days until they actually got in contact with him to even inform him of that this happened. So it's like I don't know. Did you have any thoughts, Kaz?
No, it's just kind of a sad moment that, like, I don't know. I don't really want to make too many comments on it. It's just kind of a sad, messed up thing. And then I don't know. Hopefully, everybody just. There's really nothing you can say on a situation like that.
Yeah. Hopefully, we wish all the best to his friends, his family, his girlfriend, who who had to halt filming of Running Man because she's a cast member there. All the best to everyone. Yeah, all our condolences from here in the Hallyujuku family to all his friends and family. Yeah. All right. Pause. And all right, Kaz.
Yeah.
What's going on in your world?
Same stuff as always. Check out Sports Odds and Ends, where me and JVZ talk about all the goings on in all the different sports that we can physically pay attention to, which some of them we actually don't pay attention to at all, but we still talk about them. That'll be coming up. The I don't know why I can never think. DKG Welp, the Drunk Kids Gaming Podcast, with me and my good friend Curly, and our circling round table of different guests and friends that we get to have on that show all the time, which is super fun and super awesome. Definitely check that out. We do that show live every Sunday at 10 p.m. EST, so you can check that out. Adjust times accordingly to your own time zone. And that's pretty much it. Check out those things. Love them. Like them. And subscribe to them.
And you can, of course, follow Kaz at King Kaz. I'm at Petey Rave. The show is Hallyujuku. Hallyujuku.com. KPopPodcast.com. Rebelly.net for this and other shows. Rebelly TV on YouTube and other places. All the places.
Well, didn't I tell you? Don't you know?
Rebelly.net for this and other shows. Follow, like, share, subscribe. We're on Pocket.
Do all those cool things.
Yeah.
Leave a like. Leave a fucking like, please.
Yes. Reviews. Leave a 5-star review.
Look, we'll start with a like, though. Just start with a like, and then after a like, if you come back again, leave a review. And after that, subscribe.
Yep.
And then after that, tell a friend, and then have them do those things that we had you do.
Yes. Until next time.
Why, I think you're crazy.
Hasta los huevos. Annyeong. Fighting.
Diamond Club hopes you have enjoyed this program.